It's coming up soon, but it's all going to be based on evidence. It's going to be the kind of lawsuit that is full of evidence, admissions.
Blake Lively went to the New York Times, and the New York Times wrote the sympathetic poor Blake Lively story. Oh, we were all wrong about her.
Justin Baldoni has hit back at Blake Lively's stunning claims, accusing her of exploiting her Hollywood connections to terrify him and distort the truth.
Actor-director Justin Baldoni is now suing his former co-star Blake Lively and her husband Ryan Reynolds, seeking more than $400 million in damages, accusing them of defamation and extortion.
It seems Blake, who previously reportedly tormented Baldoni with her power, is now playing the victim card to save face. This vicious fight of egos and allegations has everyone talking, and it's hard to know who to trust.
The Hollywood actress Blake Lively has filed a legal complaint against her. It Ends With Us co-star Justin Baldoni, alleging sexual harassment and a campaign to destroy her reputation.
Justin Baldoni has decided he's had enough of Blake Lively's inventive storytelling and is hitting back with his own spicy disclosures.
What's going on here? What does he say? Why is he suing them?
He is suing for defamation, extortion, and basically, in layman's terms, shady business practices.
After Lively accused him of sexual harassment and other inappropriate behavior on the set of It Ends With Us, Baldoni is now suggesting she's the true mastermind behind this charade.
Justin Baldoni, who's not as well known. And they've been following the story. So he optioned this book called It Ends With Us, and it's about domestic violence. And he managed to get Blake Lively to star in his movie across from him.
And the frosting on top, Baldoni is suing Lively and Reynolds for a casual $400 million, alleging slander and Hollywood sabotage. Ever the hero, Baldoni pledges he won't settle quietly and will make all his proof public. Sure, since revealing, everyone's dirty laundry has always gone well in Hollywood. Meanwhile, the trial set for March 2026 promises more pyrotechnics than the 4th of July.
I want men to stop asking the question, why do women stay?
Yeah.
Right. I want men to take accountability. I want men to hold other men accountable.
Baldoni feels that Lively thought up these charges to rejuvenate her career, since, starring in huge movies and being a social media darling simply wasn't cutting it. And let's not forget the part where Baldoni blames her for his career woes, as if Reynolds and Lively had a secret mission to harm him.
So he gets Blake Lively. She's married to Ryan Reynolds. These are Hollywood A-listers. He's going to put him on the map. And she agrees to be his female co-star. Great, they're off to the races.
Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively are two names that don't generally scream scandal, but their partnership on It Ends With Us has turned into anything from calm sailing. At first, everything appeared perfect. Baldoni, the self-proclaimed apostle for contemporary masculinity, and Lively, a Hollywood star with natural charm, were an interesting and surprising pick for this adaptation of Colleen Hoover's novel. On paper, it looked like a marriage made in cinematic heaven. Blake went all in, even inviting fans to attend screenings dressed in florals. An odd strategy for a drama based around domestic violence. Her drama antics are getting too much.
She's brought the suit, and he's got to defend himself. And there's some very serious allegations being made against him and Wayfair for harassment.
And then there was Justin, the man who sobbed in interviews about breaking down gender stereotypes and who produced books about emotional vulnerability. He appears like he was ready to throw his heart into the part. It was more than a job for him. He was the male lead, co-directing the picture and creating the story both in front of and behind the camera.
I want all the roles for me and only me. I want full control because I am a controlling bully.
For a time, things seemed fine. The press painted a picture of unity. Blake was eager and committed, Justin was attentive and respectful, and fans were cautiously optimistic. It appeared like Hollywood's strange pair was making it work. But behind closed doors, let's just say the lull before the storm didn't last long.
It's not going to be just a lawsuit. It's going to be the kind of lawsuit that is full of evidence, admissions, documents, which prove exactly what she did.
Out of nowhere, Blake Lively released a massive bombshell accusing Justin Baldoni of sexual harassment and professional misconduct. And she didn't hold back. She stated he exceeded the line during intimate scenes, grew much too personal in chats, and showed zero regard for bounds on set. Hollywood was astonished. This wasn't just another rumor, it was a full-blown controversy.
And we're carefully considering other people that will be sued also, and some
Ryan
of them come
Reynolds?
as a surprise. Ryan Reynolds, for sure.
But let's not forget, this wasn't simply a one-sided narrative. Those close to the production started coming out with their takes, and things went ugly fast. People working with her stated that Blake wasn't the easiest person to deal with. They characterized her as a control freak on set, insisting on certain techniques to solve problems, overriding creative decisions, and making her presence felt in ways that rubbed people the wrong way.
She bullied her way through the process to take over the movie and used her PR people to try and destroy Justin.
Justin Baldoni has now released a bombshell, exposing what he believes are the purposeful power plays of Blake Lively and her partner, Ryan Reynolds. According to Baldoni, this isn't just about personal conflicts, but a wider organized operation to harm his character and grab control of the narrative around their problematic film project.
Really shows that she's the center of attention. She takes this opportunity that he has to train himself and prepare for a scene as somehow relating to her weight.
100% Ryan was the one who put this line in here. Not SNL, not Tina Fey, not Blake Lively, but Ryan.
And in my opinion, he rose above and was way kinder and more professional than I would have been.
But Baldoni has to defend himself. These allegations are very serious, and he's really but no choice but to now come out with everything that he's got.
And then Justin Baldoni did something very smart. He hired the lawyer who represented me in my fight with NBC News, which ended well.
Reynolds, known for his quick wit and evident supremacy on social media, has reportedly played a key part in raising the tension around this entire affair. Sources think that behind the scenes, he has been pulling the reins, purposely structuring events to ensure that Lively's claims acquire maximum momentum. His reputation in Hollywood and his ability to affect public opinion through sophisticated social media methods have apparently been major factors in increasing the discussion. It is claimed that Reynolds didn't just back Lively personally, but deliberately took efforts to guarantee her version of the tale gained substantial publicity, whether it was through indirect social media postings, cryptic comments, or participation with tales that fit with Lively's accusations. He has been key in molding the public discourse. Insiders believe that he utilized his massive following and business contacts to discreetly shift the narrative in a manner that helped Lively, while also putting suspicions on the opposite side. While Reynolds has not made any public remarks addressing these claims, his internet presence and connections have stoked speculations. Many feel that his involvement goes beyond just being a supportive partner. Some even allege that he has been directing tactics from behind the curtain to manipulate the situation to their advantage.
She winds up suing Justin Baldoni. She files a complaint with the Human Rights Commission out in California saying he sexual harassed me and then he retaliated me by pushing all this bad press about me.
Arguably, for the first time at the premiere, you find out that Blake Lively tells people that all of a sudden he wrote a scene in the movie.
Hollywood power couple Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds and actor and director Justin Baldoni. The plot of this lawsuit is actually more interesting, I believe, than the film that they made.
He told us that Justin Baldoni claims she tried to take over his movie because she has a history of saying, okay, I'll be the star, but what I secretly want to do is direct it and edit it and produce it.
It Ends With Us is in theaters now, so grab your friends, wear your florals, and head out to see it.
Justin Baldoni's claims imply a calculated effort to weaponize public compassion, portraying himself as a victim in a power fight against Hollywood elites. He says that Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds have been using their significant commercial weight not merely to quiet him, but to actively damage his career reputation and personal position. According to Baldoni, their activities weren't simply about addressing grievances, they were deliberate attempts to influence public opinion, twist stories, and eventually change the entire production into a high-stakes clash of egos, personal vendettas, and PR warfare. Now, let's talk about Blake. Boundaries are crucially necessary, especially in the entertainment business, where personal and professional limits can merge. Advocating for oneself on set is not just necessary, it's crucial for sustaining respect, creative freedom, and professional integrity. But when these power dynamics come into play, it raises the question, is this genuinely about defending borders, or is it about something much bigger? Control, influence, and the deliberate structuring of Hollywood's inner circles.
She sees herself as Khaleesi from Game of Thrones, mother of dragons. And Blake Lively went to the New York Times, and the New York Times wrote this sympathetic, poor Blake Lively story. Oh, we were all wrong about her and her weird PR. She's actually a good person and a Me Too victim. So she says he's been harassing her, and they bring in some team, and he says, whatever you want, I will do it or not do it, you tell me. So negative press swirled around her during this whole, like a month, right? Later, she would describe this as though it was the pile-on against Trump. Honestly, it's like, most of us, especially in Republican politics or the news, this is called Tuesday for us.
When we see the truth, or some of these, at least Baldoni's truth, we see the other side of it. And that, at least according to him, and many people believe this, that she was the aggressor pretending to be the victim.
But according to insiders, Blake didn't merely draw boundaries. She erected a whole fortress and called herself queen. Allegedly, she was calling all the shots, leaving little to no space for collaboration. Many accounts imply that her strategy wasn't just about keeping control, it was for ultimate domination over the company. And when Justin Baldoni, who was balancing the onerous responsibilities of both co-star and director, ventured to push back against Blake's judgments, that's when things supposedly got nuclear. What originally appeared like modest creative differences rapidly escalated into a full-blown war of egos, with neither side wanting to back down. Insiders believe that emotions were heating for quite some time before eventually reaching a breaking point. And then, there's the timing of Blake's legal complaint. Suspicious doesn't even begin to touch it. It elegantly fell just when It Ends With Us was already facing increased scrutiny. Fans were already debating if Colleen Hoover's intricate and extremely emotional novel could ever withstand Hollywood's glossy makeover without losing its real authenticity. So, was Blake's move genuinely about pursuing justice? Or was it more about transferring blame before the condemnation may rest fully on her shoulders? You decide.
And so the more time we got to spend with Blake Lively, the less we liked her. He was behind it because I found his agent, his PR agent's nasty text saying, we can ruin her. If we have to ruin her, we will.
She had already began to exert control over so many aspects of production, not just rewriting the script, but she had also taken over wardrobe, causing the wardrobe budget to go over by hundreds of thousands of dollars.
She says he inappropriately smelled my neck when we were doing a scene. Then you see the scene, they're dancing, they're caressing, they're making out, it's like, but the neck thing was too much when he smelled it?
And she had this, in my opinion, a ginormous sense of worth and ego, and he was just trying to placate her, because not only was he the actor, but as we've established, he was the director, and his production company, Wayfarer Studios, produced the movie.
Now let's discuss about Ryan Reynolds, since, clearly, he's not simply sipping gin and making jokes. According to Baldwin's team, Ryan is reportedly the mastermind behind this entire farce. The timing, the narrative, and the meticulously planned victim scenario all scream PR genius at its finest. If these accusations have any weight, it implies Ryan has been carefully working behind the scenes, pulling the strings to ensure that Blake's reputation remains spotless, untarnished, and absolutely preserved. Meanwhile, Justin, on the other hand, is essentially left to pick up the pieces of this entire situation, struggling to control the storm that's been brewing around him. Sources indicate that Ryan's participation could go farther than anybody first expected, with some sources stating that every single aspect of this catastrophe has been systematically plotted out. From the leaks to the media coverage, everything appears to be aligning just right to preserve Blake's image pristine, while Justin receives the brunt of the anger. Whether these claims are legitimate or just another Hollywood conspiracy, one thing's for sure, this issue is more worse than it seems on the surface. And if Ryan genuinely is playing puppet master, well, that changes everything.
According to his amended complaint, repeatedly, Lively threatened and threatened and threatened to get her ways and get more and more control. Even during post-production, she threatened that she would not promote the movie unless she got this and that.
Or is she just extremely high maintenance and someone who plays the victim when she doesn't get her way?
He actually counters that she and her publicist orchestrated a smear campaign against him.
They are being so wildly manipulative and dishonest, as they have been since the beginning of this entire process, that they are literally mining clips on the internet, taking them out of context so that they can produce a narrative that reads like a script to us.
Everyone in this room, because you're here, I know this about you, you've been gaslit to high heaven every time you've picked up a newspaper in the United States.
Meanwhile, just as Justin's crew was rushing to mitigate the damage, the accusations began to spread like wildfire. This wasn't merely a petty controversy. It was a direct attack on everything he had spent years establishing. The man who passionately spoke about societal expectations of males, the one who publicly fought for constructing safe places for women, now found himself at the core of a dispute that threatened to ruin his entire image. The internet was harsh. People who had praised him for his progressive ideas were now studying every statement he had ever made, seeking for conflicts. His earlier interviews, speeches, and social media statements were being dredged out, examined, and turned against him. It was as if his entire public character was suddenly under a magnifying glass, and every small aspect was being examined. And then, Justin Baldoni made a move that many regarded a game changer. Instead of keeping quiet or offering ambiguous PR statements, he elected to adopt a more combative stance. He found a terrific lawyer, the same one who defended me in my legal struggle against NBC News, which eventually culminated to a spectacular showdown. This wasn't just any lawyer. This was someone who had a track record of standing up against media heavyweights and winning. The message was clear. Justin wasn't going down without a fight. Let's zoom out even further to really appreciate what's occurring here. We need to look at the bigger picture, the awful truth behind Hollywood fiction. At its base, this argument is a textbook demonstration of how celebrity allegations are painstakingly weaponized to alter public perception. One minute, someone is a feminist hero, renowned for their viewpoint on social problems. The next, they're characterized as bothersome, their whole heritage placed into doubt. The actual power players here? PR teams. These unseen powers operate behind the scenes, crafting storylines, managing crises, and carefully arranging narratives in the media. They select who gets to be the hero and who gets portrayed as the bad. And the weirdest part? The public plays directly into it, chewing up every dispute, forming alliances, and engaging in full-blown online wars. All while the truth stays murky, twisted, or even totally hidden. Blake and Justin's tale is a good illustration of how rapidly public perception can be changed. Leaked text messages, unknown sources, and one-sided headlines are all purposefully devised strategies meant to provoke emotions rather than delivering clarity. It's a technique as ancient as Hollywood itself, but in today's digital world, it has transformed into something far more sinister. Social media has elevated this deception to an altogether new level. Now, it's not just about constructing the narrative, it's about weaponizing it to ruthlessly kill your opponent. A single accusation may blossom into a full-blown media frenzy within hours, spreading like wildfire across platforms. A well-placed rumor, whether true or not, may easily demolish reputations and ruin a career overnight. The power dynamics at play here are evident. With millions watching, every action, every statement, and every emotion is studied under a digital microscope. The court of public opinion moves quicker than the judicial system ever could, and once a narrative is constructed, it's nearly difficult to remove the harm. And as for Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni, their drama is simply heating up. This is far from over. There's more to this story than meets the eye, and you won't want to miss what follows next. Stay tuned and subscribe for all the juicy updates.